विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो नमस्कार. मागच्या व्हिडिओ लेक्चरमध्ये आपण करोजन या चॅप्टरला सुरुवात केली होती आणि त्या चॅप्टरला सुरुवात केली असताना आपण त्या करोजन टॉपिकमध्ये असणारे जे काही पॉइंट्स आहेत ते जस्ट ओव्हरव्ह्यू बघितला. त्यानंतर आपण करोजन या शब्दाचा अर्थ किंवा त्याची व्याख्या काय हे बघितलं. ते सांगत असताना आपण असं म्हटलं, corrosion is nothing but it is one of the process and that process which will be concerned to the metal, means that corrosion is nothing but, we will just revise the definition. Corrosion is nothing but it is one of the process and in that process the decay or destruction of metal take place, and this decay or destruction will be observed when metal is coming in contact with atmospheric air or the gases present on the atmosphere, and due to that reason the surface part of metal will be get corroded or get decayed or destructed, and due to that reason the hardness of that metal will be less. This metal becomes weak, and due to that reason this corrosion process is very dangerous in case of metal, but it is observed when only metal is come in contact with atmospheric air. Later on that we observed this corrosion process will be observed in only in case of metals, and metal is nothing but any substance which can be shows the properties of metal, means the metallic property showing any substance, this is nothing but this one is metal, and their examples are nothing but iron, zinc, various types of example we are going to observe on the D block of the periodic table, so that the D block of periodic table contains maximum metals or non-metal, and later on that we will going to understand the different types of corrosion. These corrosion types are nothing but one is atmospheric corrosion and another one is immersed corrosion. Atmospheric corrosion is again also called as direct chemical corrosion or dry corrosion, or immersed corrosion is called as indirect chemical corrosion or wet corrosion, and later on that we will understand the meaning of atmospheric corrosion. Atmospheric corrosion is nothing but when any metal is present in contact with atmospheric gases, at that time the corrosion of the metal surface take place, and that corrosion is nothing but atmospheric corrosion. And later on that the atmospheric corrosion is again divided by into two different types, and these two different types are nothing but the corrosion due to the oxygen and corrosion due to the other gases. Out of them, the corrosion due to the oxygen we will going to just overview here. So let us start the concept of corrosion due to the oxygen or oxidation corrosion. So let us start the first type of atmospheric corrosion, and that type is nothing but corrosion due to oxygen, and this type of corrosion is also called as oxidation corrosion. This type of corrosion is also called as oxygen corrosion. Friends, in this corrosion what happen? The oxygen and metal come in contact with each other, and the surface part of that metal will be get corroded. So let us see one of the reaction, and by using that reaction we will well understand the process of oxidation corrosion. In case of oxidation corrosion, what happen? Metal is come in contact with oxygen, and from this contact we observed metal and oxygen, means metal oxide, we get metal oxide. This M is nothing but this one is metal, O2 is nothing but oxygen, and from this metal and oxygen we get metal oxide. When any metal come in contact with atmospheric gases, at that time the surface part of that metal get corroded, and at the same time we observe one of the layer or one of the film on that surface, and these observed films are divided into three different types. That three different types are nothing but, first type of film is nothing but, first one is stable film, second one is unstable film, and third one is volatile film. Stable, unstable, or third type is nothing but volatile film. Now the stable film is again divided into two different types. One is porous film and another is non-porous film. So let us be going to understand the types of films observed on oxidation corrosion. Types of different films observed in atmospheric corrosion. First type is nothing but stable film. Stable film. Now the concept is again same here. Metal is come in contact with oxygen, then we will get metal oxide. Now on the surface of the metal oxide we get films, and that films are different like stable, unstable, and volatile. This type of film contain fine grains. Fine grains, along with them the different types of adhering phenomena. Now the concept of adhering is also present in our 10th syllabus, so that I am just going to revise the word adhering. Now due to this formation of film, we get the degradation of metal surface, and later on that when it is a decrease or degradation or decoration or deterioration, we observe film into two different forms, and that two different forms is nothing but, one is porous and another is non-porous film. Now in case of porous film, what happen? The different types of metals like lithium, potassium, sodium, and alkaline earth metal can be get present into the surface of that metal, and we get their oxides. Means that in case of porous film, the transformation of this metal in or out take place, and we get porous film. And in this type of film, we get maximum amount of corrosion, while in case of non-porous, the part of surface will be closed so that we get minimum amount of corrosion. So in case of maximum amount of corrosion observed in porous film, while in case of non-porous film we have to observe minimum amount of corrosion. If we look the diagram, then we will going to well understand the concept of corrosion. So in case of stable film or porous form, what happen? Suppose that this one is one metal, and from this metal we get porous film in this type. Suppose that this one is nothing but this one is a metal. It is come in contact with oxygen and we get metal oxide. We get metal oxide. But in case of metal oxide, their surface part means this part get corroded, and this part is nothing but this one is porous metal surface. Porous metal surface. This one is nothing but metal, and the above part means that this part, when we are going to expose atmosphere, means atmosphere containing oxygen gas, at that time we get metal oxide, but at the top portion, means at the surface of that metal, we observe different pores. So in this process we have to observe porous oxide layer. We observe porous oxide layer. This is all about the first type, stable film. Exactly opposite to this phenomena, we observe non-porous film. We observe non-porous film. Now, the second type of film observed when the corrosion process will take place, and the second type is nothing but unstable film. Unstable film. Now, in case of unstable film, what happens? We will going to understand by using diagrammatic form. Here, the box is nothing but again this one is one of the metal. This metal is exposed to atmospheric gases. Suppose that oxygen gas will be there. Now, the above part is unstable film, or the surface part of that metal is unstable when it is come into the contact with atmospheric gases, and when it is decomposed, then again we get metal and oxygen. Metal and oxygen. At first, this one is metal. The above part, it is exposed to atmospheric present different gases, like oxygen is here. Then we get metal, but the surface part of that metal is found unstable film, and when the decomposition of this film will be take place, then we again form metal and oxygen. Metal and oxygen. Now, after the understanding of this whole concept, we have one single question, and this question is nothing but why gold does not get corroded in air. I am repeated the question, why gold does not get corroded in air. So this is the question for you for the homework. And last type of film is nothing but volatile film. Come to the concept. Last point of film formation is nothing but volatile film. Means that suppose that this one is metal, this one is metal. When this part of this metal surface part exposed to the atmospheric gases like oxygen, at that time the upper part will be get vaporizes, and the vaporizes, and finally we get corroded metal part. Finally we get corroded metal. Means that the decay or destruction of that upper part will be found, but this upper part is again volatile, shows volatility, and it is vaporized. So that the different types of examples of volatile film is nothing but molybdenum film and stannic film. These are the two different types of examples we observed in case of volatile film. So this is all about our today's lecture. In our today's lecture, we understand the different types of corrosion. Means corrosion due to the oxygen, and that corrosion is nothing but oxidation corrosion. And when this oxidation corrosion will be formed, at that time in the surface of metal we observe films, and that films are divided into three different types. That three different types is nothing but one is stable film, second one is unstable film, and third one is volatile film. Stable film is again divided into porous film and non-porous film. So this is all about the part of oxidation corrosion. Next part we will going to continue in our next lecture. Thank you very much.